We are back to talk about Little Brother episodes 10 and 11 here with Q. Gonna jump right into it and the Mike and Alex vote. What did you think about Mike and Alex's pitches?
I thought both of them played the angles that they needed to play. Alex's whole thing is, hey, I'm going to be on the bottom every time, so you might as well keep voting me. And Mike is, if you vote me out, I'm going to win the battle back, which he did. And I'm going to come back and destroy all of you, which he wants to do now. So.
How do you think Days came into this? He wanted to keep Mike, but it failed in the end.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure if I agree that keeping Mike is best for Days' game. I think he was kind of in the same spot as Fanguy, where, shouldn't it kind of be the same whether Alex or Fanguy stays for Days' game? Both of them are going to be on the block before him. And I honestly feel like in his choice to vote with Mike and also kind of, in the next episode defend Mike and vocalize that he was the one that voted with Mike, I feel like it kind of now paints him as a target, and it paints him as being aligned with Mike, and that is not somebody you want to be aligned with right now. That guy is radioactive, so.
Yeah, Days was pretty under the radar up to this point, but now he is no longer, probably. But, you can't play under the radar forever, can you?
That's true.
But Dillion came in. He was kind of like the nail in the coffin for the vote against Mike, because he comes into a chat with all of the voters, basically, and kind of lies on Mike and gaslights the whole chat.
Ah, yes. Dillion leaning into what he does best. Gaslighting hoes. And unfortunately for Mike, it did not go well for him. Honestly, when you are about to go toe-to-toe with Dillion, just don't do it. You're gonna lose every time. I'm pretty sure Mike, is studying law and could not handle going up against Dillion. He's gonna eat your ass up every time. And what's almost kind of funny is that I feel like Mike went into the chat before Dillion got there, kind of running shit. He was like, Alex, who are your nominations gonna be? He thought he was hot shit. I think Mike really thought that he had the vote. And then Dillion, just classic Dillion energy, lit his ass up. You hate to see it.
How do you combat that, though? Because, of course, Mike's going to be offensive when Dillion's lying on him.
You don't. You just say, Dillion, you're gaslighting me. I'm not doing this with you. And, what's so crazy is every single person in the chat knows what Dillion is capable of and knows that that's what he does best. So I don't even know why his word even holds any weight with half of the cast to begin with. So I feel like the best bet is just to not even engage with Dillion. Just be like, I'm not going to do this with you because I'm going to lose. And Mike lost and went home.
It was a pretty messy vote. Did anything else stand out to you about the vote or the way somebody voted that interests you?
I actually really thought Fanguy was going to vote Alex out. I didn't understand what ended up being the final straw for him. I guess in the next episode he kind of talks about, he thought the vote was lopsided, but I don't know. I was just very surprised by that. And then I'm kind of still with Days. I don't know still now if the vote was lopsided or if it was split. But yeah, I thought Fanguy choosing to vote out Mike was interesting.
Why do you think Mike and Fanguy had all these doubts about each other? They are these big targets that may have needed each other, and yet when Fanguy was on the block, Mike's talking about he might have to cut him, and now Fanguy does cut Mike.
Yeah, we talked about this last week. They need each other, but also I understand the rationale of wanting to get rid of your biggest liability so that maybe you can take some of the heat off of yourself. So.
But you kind of have to know at this point, they're going to come after me regardless of if I get rid of my liability or not.
I don't think that any of them have accepted that, or at least Fanguy hasn't.
Any thoughts on Leanna using her switch of vote so early on kind of a waste?
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious that you, in the recap, said, and Leanna wasted her switch of vote.
It's because no players rarely use the switch of vote correctly.
That is true. At least she did use it in secret.
True.
I had no idea
that she told everybody
else
the next day, but
that is true. from Leanna's perspective, was it a waste? Was it clear that the numbers were... I still don't know. Was the vote lopsided or was it split? I don't know.
I mean, to me, it came down to too many people not wanting to make a decision and not wanting to tell other people who they're actually voting for. And so I think it kind of came down to, it seemed like maybe during that last chat, because of probably Deleon, that it looked like Mike was probably going, so let's just vote on Mike.
Okay, but in that case, if it's still kind of like nobody wanted to make a decision, then I don't think it's fair to say Leanna wasted her switch vote. I mean, in retrospect, she did. And also, it was still... 5-3 is not unanimous. So, you might as well make it nice and cushy.
I mean, I guess
6-2.
by waste, I mean it wasn't a successful use of the power. I mean,
Well,
it was unnecessary.
she got the person that she wanted out, so how was it unsuccessful?
I mean, to me, a power, you have to use it successfully for it to be successful, and it wasn't used successfully because it was already going to be a unanimous vote.
Well, hindsight is 20/20.
Well, yeah, but I'm
how
just
would she
saying,
have known that?
That's what happens with powers all the time. You see people in Survivor, they sometimes use the idol correctly, they sometimes use it wrongly, or they sometimes go home with it in their pocket. In this case, it was used wrongly.
Fair enough.
Well, we will move on to this latest episode. Well, I mean, any thoughts on the battle back, first of all, of course?
Well, I will say prior to the battle back, the chat with Mike and Dot was super interesting just because Mike really took that time to trash Meg's game.
Yes.
And I just don't understand, like... I don't know if he was like trying to do that in hopes that maybe Dot will go back in, which Mike seemed to know that he was going to win. But I don't know if he was trying to, like, you know, drive a wedge in between Dot and Meg. But also, like, Mike, you got to know your audience. You really think Dot is going to turn on his number one?
I don't think so either.
No.
But Mike did have a successful win. I think you wanted Mike to come back. Or did you want to come on here and talk about Dot? Patty wanted you to come on here and talk about Dot. He wanted Dot to win so you could keep trashing Dot.
No. I'm not going to kick a man while he's down. I am happy that Mike came back just because when you get voted out and you say, I'll see you tomorrow, you better fucking make sure you come back. So I'm like, listen... This didn't make the edit just for Mike to get punked and fucking Nick comes back.
I mean, I would do that. I'm petty like that.
I know, but I was like, dear God, I hope Mike comes back. Like, that's such an awful thing to say, is to, like, leave this empty threat and never even, you know, fulfill it. So, I'm glad that he came back.
Dot was close, though. It was a 1-point win by Mike.
Yeah, it was. I like how he said, I'm coming back in the game, baby. It's the pancreas. I'm like, all right, Mike, yeah.
It's not easy being the best, is also what he said.
It's really not. Somebody's got to do it, though, right?
Yeah, true. Let's get back to Leanna's game before she wins the HOH. Because she's playing this game now where she's trying to cause distrust about everybody. You know, Days is talking about somebody who's spreading things throughout the game, and he thinks it's Deleon. But now Leanna goes to Aspen and tells Aspen that she was in a conversation with Fanguy and Meg, and they were talking shit about her and Dazed. What do you get out of Leanna's social game here?
You know, it's hard to say with Leanna how much of what she does is strategical and how much of it is just... I feel like she just gets, like, overly excited and just be running her goddamn mouth. And, like, I can't pinpoint when it's what. And so I feel like with the Aspen thing, I think she was, like, you know, talking to Aspen. She was going to do their fake-ass alliance chat. And then she's like, oh, by the way, I just had a chat with, you know, Fanguy, Meg, and Days. And, yeah, they were talking shit about you, girl. But anyways, moving on. Like, I don't think she was trying to be messy in that instance. I think it just kind of popped in her head. And I think the issue is Leanna doesn't have a filter.
Yeah.
Her filter is, like, she filters stuff after the fact when people are like, oh, do tell. And then she's like, oh, no, I'm not going to tell you the details of it. No. Then that's when she's got to filter everything.
We talked a little bit about it last week, but there's more and more of Aspen wanting to work with Alex to target Dee Dee. Alex has also been saying Dee Dee's name, and Aspen has been catching on to Dee Dee's trying to spread things her own way.
Classic Aspen trying to vote another blackout. I mean, are we surprised? This is her cookout, ladies and gentlemen.
But what about Alex's part in this? I mean, the Dee Dee and
You know what? I'm actually gonna shade Dee Dee a little bit in this. Dee Dee talking about, oh, I never had any beef with Alex. I just knew he was coming after me. Girl, you've been beefing with Alex since season 2 of Online Survival. Enough. Alex is coming after you because you can't keep his name out of your mouth, okay?
But as Dee Dee said in the chat the other night, that Alex came after her first, back in your season.
Oh, okay. I was like...
Not this season, yeah, but your
yes.
season.
All right, fair enough.
What did you get out of the HOH and Alex trying to help Meg with the whole singing thing, Taylor Swift, fuck the patriarchy?
I actually really like that strategy, but I think that it is contingent on you being able to sing at the exact pace of the song, and then also knowing like when you're 8 minutes into the next, you know what I mean, like the timing of it is really important. Yeah. And then, you know, the fuck, I didn't get it. I don't listen to Taylor Swift. I'm not a Swiftie, what do they call them? I don't know. Swiffers.
It's not Swifter, but
I'm not a Swifter. I don't know, like I didn't, when Meg was saying fuck the patriarchy, I was just kind of like, okay, well.
But, you know, you talked about this before, Alex wanting this toxic relationship with Meg, and this was kind of his plan to try and make it seem like, hey, I'm trying to help you, Meg. We're besties.
Yeah. I also didn't get that from... That was just weird to me. I don't know. I don't really...
But you don't think it didn't work? Because, I mean, Meg seemed happy about it later in the episode, talking about it.
I mean, maybe there's some, like, weird Swifter bond that those two have that I don't know
the
about.
The Swifties are going to come after you.
I'd fuck the Swifties. Bring it on. I'll eat you hoes
Swifties.
up, too. I don't care about their interaction.
And then Leanna comes up the victor in this competition.
Yes, at 37 minutes and 58 seconds.
56. Pretty good, though.
Leanna, you're going to have to share the strategy on how you time that so perfectly for future game players.
You know, in the season you didn't watch, your old compadre, Carrie with a K, also was very close like that in a competition, the same exact competition. She said it's because from doing her hair, she has to count curling her hair or some shit. And I guess maybe she's so used to it that's why she counts well. So maybe Leanna has a strategy like that, I don't know. We'll have to ask her if she ever...
That's actually really impressive to be able to do that for 38 minutes. Sure. Like 10 minutes, whatever. I feel like this challenge also gets longer and longer.
It does. And it also made it harder. You had to stay in that position.
Yeah, it's actually a little ableist, Nick. It's not very accessible. You're gonna make people... First of all, you know DeLeon got goddamn tremors, okay?
Well, he didn't even participate.
Thank God! Probably because he didn't want to, because he didn't feel comfortable. Come on, man. You can't be, like, having people hold their hands over their head. You know, Finn Guy said he's got short arms. He can't even reach the top of his head. That's not okay.
He was able to reach.
Not for a long time.
Well, them's the breaks. Some competitions aren't fair to everybody.
We don't support inaccessibility over here.
I don't think this is a case of that anyway. Let's move on to the Meg and Mike conversation. Mike is back with
doing his... I can't do it like DeLeon.
Yes, something to that effect.
Yes. Meg definitely went and cried after that conversation. Had her a good old cry fest, listening to some Taylor Swift.
Probably.
That was actually just awkward to watch.
Why awkward? Because Mike made it awkward, or?
Yeah, and then yeah, Mike made it awkward, but then I wanted Meg to boss up and be like, all right, Mike, well, if you feel a fucking way about it, I don't really give a shit. Bye. And I'm gonna shame Meg here now, because the way, let Meg tell it. Mike came at her crazy, and she was like, yeah, and I hung up on him. You were like, well, Mike, I'm gonna let you go. So you have a fantastic day. Do you mind? I'm gonna leave the chat. Nick, can you stop my video for me?
It wasn't quite that bad.
I'm just like, to say you hung up on him. Now, come on, Meg.
I mean, Meg did say she already has children. She didn't want to deal with that.
Meg is so damn non-confrontational. And I like that about her. I think she is, that's why I said in a previous episode that, like, you can really pull at Meg's heartstrings, and you could tell that, like, she felt bad about being a lying asshole. And, you know, Mike showed her no mercy.
He did it. Mike is coming back with a vengeance. I mean, do you like it? I mean, he says he knows he's not going to win. He just wants to kind of ruin people's games.
Yes, but, like, it's very Q energy. You're like, you know what? At this point, I'm not playing for me. I'm playing for the principle of it. Been there, done that. However, I feel like he's coming in a little too hot to have no protections. And, like, I'm very surprised that you didn't, like, hook him up with, you know, a little something for getting back in the game.
Yeah, I usually do, and I'm sure he wanted that, but I've decided if I'm going to do battle backs going forward. You already were eliminated, you better fight your way back in and fight to stay in the game.
It's just like you come into the game like that when you have some sort of leverage. So, and like, it ends up being that, you know, it seems like Daze is willing to play his power for him, and, you know, it currently seems like Daze isn't going to go up on the block, so that plan may actually come to fruition.
Well, it actually can't now, because...
Oh, shit, it done expired?
No, it's just because Daze can only use it for the initial nominations, so Mike's not an initial.
Oh,
so
shit.
That's why Daze came up with the plan of trying to get Mike on the block, but it didn't quite work out.
Wait, I missed that.
Yeah.
So the whole point was to get Mike on the block? Oh, he going home, baby. You done.
Not necessarily.
Put a fork in him.
He could play
done.
in the veto. He could get picked to play in the veto, or to that effect. But
he better hope he fucking win that damn veto. You ain't gonna get lucky every time, Mike. Nah.
You know, Dave's plan though. He came into the HOH. I think he messed up when he smiled. Like, because initially Liana was talking about putting up Mike and Fangai on the block, and then they were talking how nobody's gonna use the veto on Mike if he's on the block, and then Daze smiles and kind of makes it suspicious. Do you think Daze's paranoia is starting to come out here? Because, like,
yes,
he's thinking everybody's talking about this power I have, and Liana's probably telling everybody, and it really wasn't made a big deal by Liana.
Yes, it was the smile, and then also Daze's nervous tick. He starts playing with that goddamn 12-inch mohawk.
Worse than that guy?
Flipping it over, flipping and whipping it. Yeah, Fanguys is this. I'm like, you guys with these nervous ticks. And, like, honestly, props to Liana for picking up on it, because so much of this game is rooted in, you know, the subtle body language and cues that people give you. And yeah, I definitely peeped it. Like, that was strange, Daze. Why are you smirking? Is something funny? Why are you playing with your hair?
But also with Liana, like, she knows Daze has his power. Why not put Daze on the block?
Exactly! I felt, what's the fucking, is it the Geico commercial where he's like, oh, you almost had it. With the dollar, he's like, you gotta be quicker than that. Oh, and I was like, it's right there. It's right there. Fanguy was like, gee, I don't know, if you want to backdoor Mike, maybe it would be a good idea to, like, put somebody up that, like, I don't know, could win the veto or even has a power veto and, you know, flush that and force their hand. And Liana was like,
well, Fanguy was a little more subtle.
Nav. I'm like, it's right, it's in your face. Honestly, if we're being honest, and especially now knowing that they had one job, which was to get Mike on the fucking block, the execution was ass. It was giving when Meg and Dot did their fucking acting my season. It was so poorly executed.
Yeah.
I would have been like, Daze, that smirk alone is getting your ass on the block. Liana knows that he has the fucking power of veto, so put it up there, flush it, get rid of any... You know what? I'm getting ahead of myself, sorry, because I'm getting excited. But it's so ironic to me that Liana and Monet's whole thing has been, we're going to put Fanguy up, so that way Fanguy will not take Mike off, right? But then here's Daze with the power of veto. And they're like, so who should we put up? Who could we possibly put up? Like, they actually have clear evidence that Daze is going to fucking probably take Mike down. And
I guess they were thinking it was maybe expired, but I don't know. Their math was not mathing on that one. Well, I'll say this. I think Liana's was thinking of like, she wants somebody who could win the veto and make sure that person comes down.
But if you
So that's why she put up Nav.
If you... I don't... This is so asinine to me. Because if you just want a pawn, put Dazed up there, flush the power of veto, because if he doesn't win the power of veto, Dazed is kind of ass at competitions too. He has to play it for himself. I can't.
I'm gonna stick up for Monet here though, because she was in that conversation when Liana wanted to put up Fanguy and Mike. She was the one going hardest to say we can't put up Mike right now because I don't remember her reasoning, but she was the one pushing to not put up Mike.
No, well, I don't understand what you mean.
Well, I just want to give Monet credit because last week there was a lot of shit talking on Monet.
I'm gonna give Monet credit when it comes time to give this whole credit, but I'm talking about the other week when she was like, let's put Fanguy up to solidify that Mike don't come down. That was dumb.
Were you gonna give her credit now for?
I'm gonna give her credit later. Don't rush me.
When?
When we get to the ups and downs, you're gonna ruin your enough. Jesus.
I mean, any other thoughts on Liana's HOH here and her reasoning, her walking through this with everybody?
Child, somehow this HOH is messier and dumber than the first. She outdoes herself every time she plays.
Why do you think that is? She's just so...
I told you, I cannot pinpoint if Liana is like a strategic genius or if she just like... I don't know with Liana. She's a wild card to me. She's so hard to pinpoint.
She's definitely a wild card.
But I'm honestly leaning more towards she's a strategist. I actually think she is very strategic. I think that she knows that this is a game and she doesn't believe. Child, one thing about Liana, she don't play scared.
No.
Okay?
I think that is actually what kind of makes her so messy, though, is that I think she's a strategist too. I agree 100%. But since I think she wants to have this reputation for not playing scared.
At the risk of playing dumb.
But then it comes like sloppy when she's trying to be too hardcore, I guess.
Yeah. Kind of like mob mafia moves, you know? Like just killing people recklessly to show that she's like powerful. And it's like, no, you've said it 19 times. We know you don't play scared. You don't have to show us all the time. I don't want you to play scared, but play smart, okay?
Mike came into that pretty hot too. Mike was trying to get himself on the block coming at Liana, but it was already kind of a lost cause by that point. Now knowing that
the ultimate goal was for Mike to be put up on the block, he should have just went in and shut the fuck up.
How so?
He shouldn't have said anything because everyone knows now that the only way to get rid of Mike is to backdoor him. I mean, Fanguy kind of ruined it, let's be honest, like once he said the whole, we gotta do it this way, we gotta backdoor him. But, like, that was the only way that he could have solidified being put up on the block, was just to not say anything.
Yeah, I guess. But if Mike's coming into the room and Lana's already telling him that he's not going up on the block, I guess that was his only one solution.
Yeah.
He had to have some kind of fight. And Liana, she was lying about that. Mike asked her about her telling him if Mike and Alex are on the block, she would vote out Alex. And she lied in that conversation.
Yeah, Liana do be lying. As much as she don't play scared and she don't lie, she do lie.
It's a good thing she has that reputation coming out of her first game that she doesn't lie, so I guess maybe she could play that to her advantage now.
Yeah, although that's shot after this season.
Yes, yes it is. Thoughts on the final nomination, Fanguy and Nav?
I thought it was weird that Fanguy and Nav were so willing to be pawns, because God forbid Mike does win the power of veto. You two are fucked.
Yeah, I never like when somebody volunteers as a pawn.
No, that's stupid. I guess best case scenario, Leanna still gets out people that she doesn't really care to have in the game, so it only works to her advantage, but...
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could understand it for Fangai a little bit in that at least I get to play in the veto if I'm up on the block. Nav, I don't think he needs to be up on the block.
Mm-mm.
Well, let's get to your ups and downs. We will begin with the returning Mike.
He had a good run. Mike's down and probably out.
How about Deleon?
Deleon had some moments where I would put him up, and then he had some moments where he went back down. So I would say Deleon is about the same.
What were the moments that made you put him back down?
When Mike came back. He was up when he got Mike out. I was like, all right, Deleon, you gonna talk this shit? You got your target out. But then Mike came back, and I was like, well, you better hope Mike is back on his way out. Because... And then also, Deleon's majorly down because now Dazed is coming after him. And even though, you know, in a match between Deleon and Dazed, we all know who I'm putting my money on.
Well, Dazed is already down one in the battle.
Dazed is down in this battle. But still, like, even if Deleon does keep winning these fights, like, it's not a good look. It's messy. And I think that he made a major gameplay, like a major move. And so now it's time to just kind of fall back again. So that's why I would put him down. But overall, I would say he's doing just fine.
How about Leanna, who was on her HOH number 2?
Again, Leanna had some moments where she was up and then some moments where she was down. So, you know, in stark contrast to last week when everybody was down, about all of these hoes are neutral.
DD.
D, I also have staying about the same. I mean, there is now a conspiracy to get her out, so.
Aspen. She's not down for once, I see.
Aspen, almost, you know, if you look very closely, if you squint, you might see an erased up arrow.
Oh yeah, I can actually.
I almost had Aspen up.
Why did you have her up initially?
Because she calmed down, but then she had to go after D, and I'm like, Aspen, you can't be out here targeting blacks. You're down.
Why not?
No. I had a valid reason for why I put her down. Hold on, let me think about it. Well, I mean, I will say there was that conversation with Meg, Fangai, and Dazed, where they're all on to her.
Yeah, that's true.
Everybody's no, seriously, like everybody is still on to Aspen. Mike is really upset with Aspen. So I think that the reason why I put her kind of the same is because for this episode, she did not shit the bed. But I have a feeling it's a stay tuned type of thing. So
I think Aspen, I want to give her credit for her vote in the last round because she, even though she was high, she said her weed high brain. She saw the vote going towards Mike and voted that way as to not have to be in a mess again. So maybe she's learning a little bit.
Okay.
Fangai.
Fangai have neutral.
Why?
Well, he's on the block, so that's a down. I don't know why I have him neutral then.
You don't think he should be down?
Yeah, I think he actually should just be... If you're on the block, you're down. Never mind. Fangai, you're down. I mean, I think it is nice that, you know, he can play the veto, and he has a very... See, he has a very strong chance of winning, but then that's not even true because you know how I feel about this. These games are a crapshot, so it's like, will he win? We have no idea.
True. Nav.
Same reason as Fangai is down. He's on the block.
Dazed.
Dazed, I have neutral. Dazed is... I won't say he has a target on him as of yet, but it's going to start emerging within the next few episodes.
Do you think he kind of has to go with it now?
No, especially if Mike gets out, especially if the back door works. No. Hush. Go link back up with Meg, try and get in good with Fangai, and ride the middle till the end. He does not have to lean into this target thing. He can, and then Dazed has actually been playing a really good subtle game of, you know, getting his targets out, so he could paint a target on Delion without being so vocal about it. So I don't think he has to lean into it.
I think that ambulance was coming for Dazed's fingers and that.
All right, so you got 3 people. We're voting this way.
Sorry, Dazed. Alex.
Alex, I have going up. Isn't it crazy how the person whose main pitch is, hey, keep me around, I'm always going to be on the block, isn't on the block?
Why do you think Liana wants to keep him off the block, possibly?
Because so many people want him out.
And what does that mean?
I don't know what that means, because to me, if someone's whole pitch is, I'm always going to be on the block, put them on the block. Every time. It's a no-brainer.
It's working for Alex right now.
I know, and the fact that he's off the block, I'm like, well, this is like the little bit of space that Alex needs to really get some momentum in this game. Because don't let him fuck around and win HOH next week. It's over.
True. Meg.
Meg I have going down. She really got ate up by Mike. A lot of people know she's a lying ass hoe. It's not looking good for Meg. I don't think she'll be next out, though, and I do think she has the protection of the fake-ass, you know, matriarchy alliance that somehow has managed to keep all of its players.
True, it's fake, yet they protect each other.
I just feel, I wouldn't go that far.
They kind of do. I mean, is Liana targeting a woman?
That's what I was going to say. I just feel like none of them are each other's targets.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say that they are protecting each other.
Okay. Lastly, Monet.
Monet, after playing the shittiest HOH I have seen, because I don't watch Big Brother, is up.
Why?
Because Monet did what one should do after playing such a trash HOH. She stuck her head in the sand. I don't think Monet was in a single chat until that one she had with Delion where they were laughing about fucking Mike going back up. That was the first time I saw that hoe the whole episode. Yeah. And that's how I liked it. And somehow, you know, like, you know, Mike's like, oh, you know, Monet and Delion are my targets. But, like, Mike, you gotta fucking be playing the game to even, you know, have targets. So, hush.
Well, he's not even targeting her anymore. He has bigger fish to fry.
Even better! Even Mike's biggest fish is just trying to stay in the game. So, who gives a shit about his targets? Monet is up. Nobody's saying her name. And if she just keeps it up, she can recover from this awful ass fucking HOH she played.
She also continues to keep her first power a secret for the most part.
I know, her little Easter egg. I like that. I did mention that a couple podcasts ago, that at least she kept one of them a secret, because with Liana revealing her switch of vote, it's now out that every single person who, you know, deferred the HOH has a power. So that power has already been flushed, effectively. So I'm very glad that she has this little Easter egg to fall back on. Easter egg or nest egg? I don't really know what, like, Easter egg, like, what that has to do, what Easter has to do.
That's like something in a movie. That's like an Easter egg. I don't really know the definition, to be honest.
I would say maybe like nest egg, because, you know, it's something to fall back on.
Well, it could be that too, yes.
Anyways, there's probably some astrology shit. I'm glad she's got a little something to fall back on. Monet, back in my good graces.
That's a huge change from last week.
Yes.
Any final thoughts? Cue the Jeopardy theme.
I have to read my list. No.
Okay, wow. Until tomorrow night.